The news came out. I told y'all, man, that this is real. You got to watch out for the migrants, to the brothers out there. Hey, look, I ain't trying to start no gang war. I ain't trying to start no beef with each other. But these people are illegal. They real gangsters. And, man, they trying to take over.
There is an old saying that came out about 200-300 years ago in Britain. Politics create strange bedfellows. That means that two groups that don't have too much in common might come together for the same political values. And that is not just in politics, it also works in the gang life. Gunshots! Let's go to the city of Chicago, one of the gang capitals of the United States, with a lot of beefs going on in the Black communities for years. A lot of brothers have been killing each other in Chicago for a long time. And some of those beefs have never been squashed, and people are born into those beefs and don't even know why. It's foolishness, I understand, but that's how gang life is. But stop the show. We might get black gangs working together. Why is that? Well, there's new competitors into the market. Venezuelan competitors into the market. We've already seen what Venezuelan migrants are doing in the Denver area and its respective suburbs. But now the Venezuelan migrants are getting deep in Chicago, and they're coming into some of the black communities, like, for example, Woodlawn. The Woodlawn, I believe, is on the south side of Chicago. It is a historic African-American community that the migrants were bussed into. But stop the show. Venezuelan migrants are coming into black territories and wanting to take over. They don't have any respect, allegedly, for the blacks that are there. And this is what caused, allegedly, these Venezuelan migrants to come into the legendary Blacc neighborhood.
The news came out. I told y'all, man, that this is real. You got to watch out for the migrants, to the brothers out there. Hey, look, I ain't trying to start no gang war. I ain't trying to start no beef with each other. But these people are illegal. They real gangsters. And, man, they trying to take over. Now, it was shots fired, reported, 6415 South King Drive, inside Blacc. And then it was a video of the migrants, the Venezuelans walking down King Drive, showing Blacc, and it was gunshots let off, and they was walking down, and they was deep. Now, Pastor Brooks had came out. Now, this is the pastor. This is the pastor who love Blacc. This is the pastor who got the church. This is the pastor who Big Dale then was with. This is the pastor who do Project Hood. This is the pastor who was just with Donald Trump. He came out and retweeted the shots fired at 6415 South King Drive. And not only did he retweet Spot News, but he also gave out a warning to the residents that they think that the Venezuelans that live in the building don't have a lot of guns. Y'all crazy. To be careful. And this is the pastor. This is Pastor Brooks. Like I said, was with Big Dale, Project Hood, the famous Blacc pastor who held all the funerals. He even nervous. Hey, now, for the people who still don't believe, type in Chicago Woodlawn migrants. Type in Woodlawn migrants, and you're going to see Dro City, where the migrants was chasing the gang members. They was actually chasing the gang members. The gang members tried to kick them off the block, and they got into it with the gang members, and they outnumbered the gang members, man, and was chasing them, robbed them, assaulted them. People was even willing to press charges on the block. And then after that, the immigrants, it was another call that the migrants wouldn't leave. They was posted up. Like, they posted up on 62nd, 61st, and Kenwood, and they wouldn't leave. This is not myth or none of that. I don't know what the other guys talking about with the shots fired yesterday. They had came out at 11. They had came out at 11:30 this morning, man. This morning, 11:30. This shit happened at 8:23 p.m. So for them to come out and say, oh, man, no migrants went over here. Why didn't y'all come out last night?
Now, shout out to that brother, Trench's News. He's a brother from Chicago. And I wanted to go to the Blacc pastor, Corey Brooks. Now, this is the same pastor that has been meeting with Donald Trump, all right? Now, Spot News says, 6124 South King, caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing in the building. They are showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All stairwells are filled. Hashtag Chicago scanner. Then let's listen to the scanner.
40 units and 3 on the citywide. I'm getting a call of shots fired at 6415 South on King. The grandmother's report shots fired at that location, but believe she saw maybe Venezuelan gang members shooting in the air. I'm getting multiple calls. 3rd District's on 57.
Now I'm gonna go back to what the pastor said. I kept telling you all, it's just a matter of time before it explodes. If y'all think those Venezuelans that live in that building don't have a lot of guns, y'all are crazy. Now another brother made a video not so long ago urging the black gangs to come together.
We embrace them. For the most part, we embrace these foreign, like Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, you name it. Black folks, typically, we embrace these other races because we understand what it is to be on the outside looking in. But see, don't work both ways, man. And I'm just speaking in general. I know it's not the same in every city, but y'all see what's going on in California? You know what I'm saying? Puffing out y'all chests like y'all the gang mecca. The motherfucking Mexicans is on y'all neck down there, man. So now Chicago and even Cleveland, we've had our issues, but for the most part in Cleveland, you know, as far as the Latin gangs, now MS-13, I don't with them. But like I said, man, it varies from gang to gang. But at the end of the day, they have no allegiance to blacks, man. Yeah, they do business with us. Try to date one of their daughters. You know what I'm saying? That's where you find out how people really feel about you. They find out you're dealing with you know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, they will sit down at the table when money is greed. That's how this shit happened, greed. Like I said, looking for the better plug, looking for the better, no allegiance in these streets, man. But I don't know what I expect because we ain't got no allegiance to each other. You know what I'm saying? So why these other gangs, these other races, you know, why would they have, you know, any qualms about bucking up? But see, like I said, they waited until they fully infiltrated. And now that they, you know, they got the links, like I said, they got family here. So once they in here, they in here. So, and they maintain that line of communication with the gang leaders or cartels on the other side. They get them packs over here, you know. So once they took over their little sections, you know, they get over here, congregate in their sections. I mean, where I'm from, you at your own risk if you around in certain sections. As far as Latinos, Mexicans, woo woo. But so they got the plug. Now what?
Shout out to that brother 216 Scano from the Gutter News, right? Let me kind of talk about this because, you know, I lived in Compton during the time of, you know, I lived actually on Santana Block. My family is actually from South Side, so I lived in Atlantic Drive. You know what I mean? That kind of part of neighborhood, South Side neighborhood. And to be honest, a lot of the brothers would never squash the beef between hoods. And like I said, even in LA and California, you have more Crips fighting Crips or sometimes Bloods fighting Bloods. But now what's happening is that these migrants don't care nothing about what color you are. They don't care nothing about you being a vice lord. They don't care nothing about that at all. They care about you got a territory and you're black and we want you out. So this is going to have to force the blacks to forget about the issues that they've had and try to come together. But it's unfortunate that blacks are being forced to come together because of the migrant gangs. You see, this is the reality that is going to bring it back to the forefront. If the gangs are understanding that blacks got to come together, then what does that mean for everybody else? And this is the thing, that no matter where you are in this world, I'm an African American, and sometimes I find my displeasures in the community or even being here. But one thing is for sure, other groups look at you differently. You're going to be forced to work together or perish. That's the attitude. The criminals understand that. The murderers in the black community understand that. The drug dealers understand that. We need to come together, and if we're gonna do our illegal stuff, which I don't agree with, but we're gonna try to do our illegal stuff and keep them out of our community so that they don't come do our illegal stuff. The same mentality that this, kind of like underworld has, the black world gotta have. We need to have the black professionals saying the same thing that these guys are saying. It's a shame when the gangbangers are wanting to work together and the black professionals ain't wanting to work together. That's a shame, especially in a city like Chicago, the third biggest city in America. You got black doctors, you got black lawyers, you got black businessmen, you got that whole Midwest corridor there, you got the Illinois, Missouri, all of that, going together. A lot of opportunities that can be done in the Midwest with blacks, and the black professionals ain't coming together and saying, hey, we need to work together because of these other groups are coming in and taking what we got. Instead, we're going around being upset and protesting. Listen, these criminals ain't protesting. They're trying to squash beefs as it is. They're going to have to. Okay? Because these Venezuelans or whoever else gangs are going to come in, they're going to wipe all of them out. And for the black professional class, you're going to be wiped out. Stop thinking that you all of that. Stop thinking that, just because you got a doctorate or because you got an MBA or whatever, that these people are not going to come for you. Trust me, I remember in the 80s when there wasn't that many Hispanics that was in higher academia and they was on the side of, the 105 freeway selling fruit or the 405 or whatever it was. But now they kids, they coming up in the Cal State system, the UC system. And next thing you know, they're going to be replacing your kids. So they're going to have education, plus they're going to have those family values. Those Venezuelans are operated by our culture, albeit it's illegal. The ones that are doing this, they are united by religion, most of them, probably Roman Catholicism, and Spanish, the language, and an identity. And they done been through some real stuff, real killers. All right? Venezuelan killing and crime is a little bit different than the dudes in Chicago. Don't get me wrong, the dudes in Chicago are action, but they not know, like the guys in Colombia, the guys in Venezuela, those dudes do whatever they want. Those dudes are real brutal with it. They have to be. A lot of the black gangs, they're not even used to what these guys might do. They're not to the scale of how down these guys are. Plus, again, they're in a sanctuary city. So they probably feel like if we do something, we can get away with it. I reported not so long ago on my other channel, there was a brother that was in San Diego and he was stabbed to death by a Brazilian migrant, and she got out on bond and fled the country. Meanwhile, the brothers died. So y'all got to be careful out here in these cities. This migrant crisis is real, and black people are going to be forced to work together, illegally or legally, or your ass is going to be wiped out. There's no doubt about it. So you might as well get used to start speaking to each other right now, saying hello and trying to get those skills up, get those community skills up, how to work with people skills up, because the migrants, that's all they know how to do. 50 of them can live in one apartment. They're already built for this kind of lifestyle. And a lot of Americans is not ready for this. See, I live over in Africa. I know what it's like living in a place where people can all live together and kind of work together. And then if they end up coming to where you at, they have an advantage, extreme advantage, because all of them can live together. All of them can work together. All of them can help each other. But you haven't had to do that for the last 100 years. So you're at a disadvantage, and it can get ugly real quick with people who have nothing to lose. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shady Jackson back with another episode of Fair Use. I'm out.